Hey folks, John with KGTropicals.com here with my friend Dave Warren. We're talking all about breeding the freshwater angelfish. We've gotten to part 6 now, talking about getting rid of the fry. If you don't have a plan, folks, to get rid of fry, once you have them, believe me, this can get completely out of control. You can run out of tank space. Now you're all of a sudden going and setting up more tanks, costing you more money, and it can get frustrating. I mean, it can be something that becomes a job instead of something that you're having fun with. So having a good plan from the start to get rid of your fry is a good thing. Dave, tell me, I mean, I know one of the ways you get rid of your fry, but tell me your preferred ways of getting rid of your fry.
Well, obviously, your local pet store is a good way.
Aye.
But you need to check that out first. You just can't walk in and say, hey, I got some fish, you want to buy them? You know, I went and talked to several fish stores, just like I came to you. Most of them will give you store credit for the fish, but they want them a particular size. And health is important, you know, good visual quality. The large chains will not buy fish from you, so not even worth talking to them. You have Aquabid, you have eBay. There's several different ways. I even have a backup plan if it ever gets to a point where I've got a bunch that I can't get rid of and I've got a bunch coming on. I even have a guy that goes and builds tanks for old folks' homes and children's homes and nurseries and places like that, and I donate fish to him. So
wow.
You do have to have a plan, because I have 16 tanks right now. At one time I had almost 30, and it was simply from angel explosion. Just like you said, I was out buying tanks, and so you do need to have a plan, talk to people first off. Another way of getting rid of them is find another angel enthusiast, and it's a good way to improve your genetics. You know, you trade angels back and forth, you look for specific traits, and you know, that's another good way.
Now, we got to talk about the money, because people are going to ask, it's going to be, how much can I sell these fish for? And that's one of the things that it kind of discourages some people, because they think, oh, I'm going to put 10-12 tanks down in my basement and I'm going to make $75,000 a year breeding angelfish. It's not realistic.
No.
Selling these fish at this kind of a level, the volume that you do, I mean, I'm not going to answer it. You just tell me, when you come to me, what do I pay you per fish?
Well, when I sell to a local fish store, you know, your store is primary, I look to get about $2 a fish, because first off, they're small, so you're going to have to, in some cases, hang on to them a little bit, and I realize that you're going to have to make enough money to cover whatever losses, because whenever you move fish, I don't care how good, I don't care what the water parameters are, you're going to stress some, and some are going to die. And so obviously you got to cover that cost, because I'm not a store where you can call up and say, hey, these fish died, I want my money back. So you got to price it to a point to whoever you're selling it to can make money and can cover whatever losses they have. Now when you sell online, that's a little bit different. Then you can get a little bit more, but it's also more competitive, because I don't care if you sell fish for $1, you're going to find somebody that's going to give you 50 cents.
Right.
You know, so it's tough, but there's a lot of different ways to do it. But you know, keeping in mind that fish stores have to make money, that you got to be able to price it to where they can.
And this caused a great debate when I did my African series. I didn't want to talk about what the markup was in the fish store, you know, in the fish industry, but it turns out pretty much everybody already knows that. So it's not a big secret. I thought it was, but it's not. You can expect the pet store to mark them up by about 400%. So you sell me a fish for $2, I'm going to sell it for $8. Is my math right? That's the right math. So that's a good way to know if you're going to sell these fish to a pet store. Like Dave said, go into one of the big box stores, the stores that start with a P. You're probably not going to get them to buy any of your fish. But the local mom and pop pet stores, most of them will. You might have to get to know them a little bit. They need to feel comfortable. Dave came into my store the day we opened. I don't think we were open an hour. And he came into our store to meet us. We got to know him, and we almost immediately bought fish from him. We loved the idea. of having a local breeder breeding fish that we're selling in our store. That was a lot of fun. But you know, a good way to know what you can get for them is go there and look and see what your pet store's selling them for. And then you can do the math in your head and you'll know pretty much what that pet store should pay you. But what I can tell you is this: they will not pay you more than what they can get them from their supplier. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You might have the best fish in the world, but let's face it, angels are one of the best selling fish on the planet, so people are going to buy them regardless. Your hardcore angel enthusiasts, like this man here, are going to be very selective over the fish that he buys, but your average hobbyist that's maybe just getting into this, they don't care. Angels are pretty, they don't care where they came from, and they just want them. So you're not going to get more money than what the pet store could sell or could buy them for from their supplier. So
and if you're trying to make a good profit on angelfish, there's a lot of work involved, but selling adult proven pairs is the way to make money, because then you're going to get $60 or $80 for the pair, but you're not going to sell those to your local fish store. You're going to be selling those on Aquabid.
And if you get lucky and you have some bald dude down the road that sells you, did I sell those to you, or did I give them to you, or I traded you?
You sold them to me.
I got to make money. I got to put food on the table. So you might run across some angels that are pretty rare, like those platinums upstairs. You don't see those every day, and we get people all the time asking for them. So you might pay a pretty penny for a pair like that, but if you get them to spawn and it results in fry, it's absolutely worth it. And if you do the math in your head, if you got 100 fry and you're selling them for $2 a piece, you're making $200. I mean, you're not going to support a family on that kind of money, but you're still putting some money in your pocket. Maybe support the hobby, buy a few more tanks, have some fun with it. One of the things we didn't talk too much about, I don't think, was your local aquarium club auctions. I know you do that a lot. You were on your way. He was on his way to a club auction when he stopped at our store the day we opened, and we liked him. We actually bought fish from him that day. He had them in his car because he was taking them up to that auction. Have you found that to be a good place?
That's a good place to get rid. I hate to use the term "get rid of," but it's a good place to thin out your inventory. First off, you've got fish enthusiasts. They're not going to pay premium amount unless you have something like discus or a rare angelfish that's good size. Most of the time, you got to factor in that. Let's say you take 10 up there and you get $3 a piece for them. You're going, oh wow, that's more than the pet store. But then they take their percentage out for the club, and you end up getting $2 a piece for them. So I do go up there. It's good to know that the people buying your fish are going to keep your fish because they are fish people. But that's just a good way to thin your inventory down. You're not going to get rich that way.
Two more quick things. One of them, Craigslist. Hello. It's free. It's easy. Put an ad on there. You can sell them. And if you're selling to somebody direct on Craigslist, you can charge
whatever
regular retail prices for them. So you'll make more money that way. But another thing I wanted to touch on that I meant to talk about when Dave was talking about selling them online, one of the things that you have to consider is the fact that there's going to be shipping. And shipping is not cheap when you're talking about shipping live animals. That's where it becomes really difficult to compete with the big companies that are selling on Aquabid and eBay and things like that. A lot of these companies will sell you fish for dirt cheap and then they'll give you free shipping. I don't know how they do it, but somehow they make money doing it that way. So when Dave said that selling fish online, it doesn't matter what kind of fish you're selling, it is a highly competitive industry, and mainly that's because of the shipping costs. Shipping is expensive. I mean, I spend a lot of my days justifying the cost of shipping because everybody asks, why is it so expensive? I mean, we only do overnight shipping, so I guess that's why it's more expensive. But some of these places will offer you free shipping, but it's like second day shipping, stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of that myself, but people do what they want to do. So, but Craigslist, Aquabid, eBay, Craigslist is probably the best because you'll make your most money that way. And I would use selling to your local pet store a last resort. I mean, you got an abundance of them. You need to get rid of them. Go offer a deal to your local pet store, and they might need angels, and it might turn out to be something where you become their exclusive supplier of angels, like Dave has for us. We don't buy angels from anybody else, so we don't need to. I mean, the angels that we get are healthy, they're happy, People love them, and we don't get any complaints from customers about them. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're going to keep buying from him. And his fish will be available on our website. You got to pay the shipping. I mean, come on. I got to put food on the table. But they will be available on our website. So you can, if you want some of Dave's fish, we'll have them on there. I don't know exactly when, but they will be on there. And please have a plan of how you're going to get rid of these fish before you even start it up, so that it's not something that's frustrating and you know it becomes a job to you. You want this to be fun. Support the hobby. It's a good time.
Right.
So I don't know any more that we can say about this. This has been fun. We're going to move on. I think we're going to go relax in the recliners or something upstairs. And our next video is going to be talking about frequently asked questions and common problems. There's quite a few. And so we're going to have plenty of things to talk about. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss that episode. Say goodbye, Dave.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.